The third Great War is about to happen. The most talked about topic in the latest chapter is the mural that Franky himself discovered. As I mentioned in our chapter review, we will now discuss and analyze this enormous picture. Evidently, this picture depicts a war, but it wasn't confirmed whether it represents the First War, the Second War, or the upcoming Third War. You may have already read various interpretations of this picture, such as one side representing the First War during the time of the Ancient Kingdom, and the other side depicting the war from the Void Century. My interpretation of this mural is all of the above. Yes, I believe that this picture illustrates the First, Second, and the yet-to-happen Third War. Each character present in the mural seems to have a reincarnation or a counterpart across these wars. To clarify this idea further, let's analyze the figures in the picture one by one, starting from the left to the right. First, there is a massive monster that is clearly the antagonist in the mural, as everyone appears to be focused on it. This strongly suggests that it represents Emu-sama. We've already received hints about this in recent chapters and even in the anime. When Sabu infiltrated Mary Joa, we briefly saw Emu's transformation, which closely resembles the creature in this picture. As for the fireball in its hand, which looks like a sun, like many others believe that it represents the Mother Flame. The fire with infinite energy at the lower part of Emu represents something significant. Below Emu, we can see people sailing towards the opposite side, which likely symbolizes the Gorosei, as they are on the monster's side. Now, moving on to the characters heading towards Emu's location, it's obvious that they are the allies of the Sun God, as their direction aligns with his. Speaking of the Sun God, he is the one directly facing Emu at the center. Above him, there is an image of an angel with black wings, which represents the Lunarians. You can see a whale on top of the Lunarians, which might be the ancestor of Laboon, and the ones riding on them could possibly be fishmen because normal humans wouldn't be able to breathe underwater. So, during the final war, we might see Laboon and other whales participating in the battle as well. We already know that Emeth, the ancient robot we encountered on Egghead Island, is also depicted here. Below it, there is an image of an ancient giant. We can identify it as an ancient giant due to its horns and its noticeably larger size compared to the others. Since there are no currently known living ancient giants, Ors is dead, and we have no updates on Ors Jr. It seems that their race will be represented in the final war by Loki. It was recently confirmed that Loki indeed has the blood of an ancient giant, and he also bears a strong resemblance to the figure in the mural. To the right of the ancient giant, there are two boats, each carrying people. The upper boat likely represents Alabasta. The upper boat likely represents Alabasta, as its emblem closely resembles Alabasta's symbol. The lower boat, on the other hand, undoubtedly represents Wano, as the picture clearly depicts samurai and ninja. On the left side of the ancient giant, we see four distinct characters. These four possibly symbolize Poseidon, the minks, the giants, and the dwarves. The mural itself makes this fairly self-explanatory. Finally, the last figure on this side that we haven't discussed yet appears to be a mink wielding a sword. I believe this character represents the forest god. If you recall from the Sky PA arc, the story introduced four gods: the sun god, earth god, rain god, and forest god. Since we've already identified the sun god, it makes sense that this figure could be the forest god. Since this figure represents the protagonist in the story like Joy Boy and Luffy, I believe that the rain god is of course Shirahoshi, since her ability is directly related to water, and she herself is a mermaid. As for the Earth God, it is possible that it could be Emu or another antagonist in the story. Now the question remains, who will be the Forest God? I believe the answer is Dragon. He will take on the role of the Forest God and represent this character in the story. I wouldn't be surprised if Oda later reveals that Dragon is the one being referred to here. We've already seen glimpses of his abilities which align with the concept of the Forest God, such as his control over wind, electricity, and other elements. Anyway, let's now move to the other side of the mural, starting again from the left. Here we see a massive elephant-shaped figure, and inside it there is an enormous ship, along with various other characters. It is clear that the elephant represents Zunesha, while the ship inside closely resembles Noah. The winged figure here most likely represents the people from Sky Island, such as the Birkins, Shandians, and Scipians. The remaining characters in this section, of course, symbolize civilians and animals. So why did Oda place all these elements together in a single image? I believe the message he wants to convey is that these beings, Zunesha, the ship, and the Sky People, will play a crucial role in saving humanity and animals once the final war begins or is already underway. In this sense, Zunesha represents Noah, and the people of Sky Island will be the most involved in helping civilians and ordinary animals that could be affected by the rising sea levels or any catastrophe that Emu-sama might unleash once he attacks in the final war. So why are the winged people important? Let's take Vegapunk's mention of the Sea Clouds machine as an example. They wanted to obtain this machine because it could greatly benefit humanity and save many lives. This suggests that the sea level will rise drastically once the final war begins, meaning many people will drown. That's why the Sky Islanders are needed to help evacuate people as they can fly. Returning to the mural, if you look closely, at the very top of the elephant figure, there is a silhouette of a person wearing a crown. I believe this represents the Queen of Alabasta. They will lead the rescue efforts I just mentioned, with Noah, Zunesha, and the Sky Islanders working together to save civilians. It's possible that this was the role Nefertari Lily played during the Void Century, and now Vivi might take on the same role in the final war. Technically, since King Cobra has passed away, Vivi is now the Queen of Alabasta. At the upper part of the elephant, we see a flying ship that appears to be generating lightning. We've seen something similar before. It resembles Enel's Arc Maxim. According to the story, Enel currently possesses it, so there's a good chance we'll see him again in the final war. But the real question is, what role will he play? Whose side will he be on? Based on the mural, it's unclear whether he is attacking the giant elephant or protecting it. Finally, the mural depicts two monstrous figures that look similar to Emu-sama. I know you've likely read different interpretations about who these two figures could be. Some suggest they are also Emu, others think they represent the Red Line, and various other theories exist. However, in my view, these figures represent the two remaining ancient weapons. Yes, because if Poseidon is present in this mural, I'm sure the other two ancient weapons are as well. The bird-like figure is evidently Uranus. We already know that Emu-sama currently possesses Uranus, as it was the weapon Sabo saw being used to erase the Lulusia kingdom. From the mural, it seems like Uranus is attacking the other massive creature. I believe this creature represents Pluton. The structure that looks like a mechanical building is, in my opinion, Pluton. Yes, while it has been stated that Pluton is a ship, anything is still possible. For all we know, the ship could have a devil fruit, just like Shamrock's sword. I think the reason the ancient weapons appear to be fighting in the mural is that Uranus was always destined to fall into the hands of evil. This weapon will be used to raise the sea level and sink the world, and the only force capable of stopping it is possibly Pluton. Anyway, as I mentioned at the start of this discussion, I believe this entire mural represents all three wars rather than being divided into separate conflicts. This is due to the concept of reincarnation or inherited will. For example, the Sun God's will was passed on to Joy Boy and later to Luffy. Similarly, Nefertari Lily's will is now carried by Vivi. I believe that every character who will participate in the final war has a corresponding counterpart from the past two wars. However, characters like Zunesha, who are unique and one of a kind, remain unchanged and continue to exist. If you think about it, every character depicted in the mural is still alive today, either because they literally survived or because their will is being carried by their successor. That concludes my interpretation of the mural revealed in the latest chapter. If you'd like me to analyze Robin's poem about the three wars in a similar way, let me know by commenting below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like it. It really helps the channel a lot. That's all. Peace.